Welcome to Šiauliai, the city of sun. You'll find Šiauliai in the north of Lithuania, near the border to Latvia. Šiauliai is actually closer to Riga in Latvia than it is to Vilnius. Riga is 130 kilometers away and Vilnius is 200 kilometers away. Šiauliai is the fourth largest city in Lithuania and its population reaches 110,000. The Lithuanians call Šiauliai the city of sun, Saulės miestas. The name comes from its origin story. Back in the Middle Ages, in the year 1236, an important battle took place in this area, where the Lithuanians defeated the Livonian brothers of a sword. It was documented in the Livonian chronicles as the Battle of Siauliai, which means sun in Lithuanian. As it so happened, that was the first time the Šiauliai area was mentioned in written history. 1236 is now considered to be the year of the city's foundation, with the sun as its symbol. Speaking of history, Šiauliai also boasts of the oldest company still in operation in Lithuania. A brewery called Gubernia was established here in 1665. They produce beer and gira, kvass, which you can find in most supermarkets. There also are tours available at the historical brewery in Šiauliai. So as you might have guessed, Šiauliai is an industrial city. It grew significantly in the 19th century as well, thanks to Chaimas Frenkelis, one of the most prominent figures in the city's history. But we will talk about him later. However, history wasn't so gentle to the city of Šiauliai. It suffered a lot throughout the centuries, and the city was ruined multiple times by the Swedes in the 17th century, Napoleon's army, a massive fire later in the 19th century, German Empire's army during the First World War, and even during the Second World War, approximately 85% of the buildings were destroyed once more. Fortunately, Šiauliai managed to get back up and has come a long way in its development. It is now one of the most important industrial cities in the country, also hosting Lithuania's and NATO military aviation base. So when we visit the city, we won't find an old town here. However, there are a few beautiful buildings that have survived all these hardships. One of them is, of course, the cathedral. Although it was definitely affected during the wars, Šiauliai Cathedral still stands tall since it was built back in 1626. The cathedral's tower is probably the tallest building in the city, standing at a height of 70 meters, and it is visible from afar. Another place with a historical feeling still here is the main pedestrian street, known to locals as Bulvaras, a boulevard. It still has some interesting modernist-era buildings and numerous sculptures. The boulevard is the true heart of the city, and it is a lovely place to spend time. It is filled with shops, restaurants, and cozy cafes. There are even several museums here. As I am originally from Kaunas myself, this street feels cozy and familiar to me because it reminds me a bit of Freedom Avenue back in Kaunas. One of the interesting places to stop by in the boulevard is the Baltic Culture Education Center. It is a beautiful, interactive, modern exhibition designed for those who are curious to learn about the historical Baltic culture. It's fun to visit here with kids as well. Another interesting spot on the boulevard is a tea house called Valerijonas. It is located inside the 19th century pharmacy, which is still operational, and there even is a pharmaceutical museum inside. The tea house is very cozy, not only offering various drinks, but also healthy vegan meals and has various health produce for sale. There are more museums along in the boulevard and all throughout the city. Actually, Šiauliai has more than 20 museums. Some of the most visited museums are part of the Šiauliai Aušra Museum, which ranks among the top 10 most visited museums in Lithuania. In the boulevard, you can visit museums dedicated to photography, radio, television, and bicycles. The bicycle museum is quite fun to visit with kids. There are bicycles from the oldest days of the 19th century to the newest. Even a bike that had survived a trip around the world. There also is a bike made of wood available to try out. Nearby, there is also a beautiful historical Venclauskaitė House Museum, built in 1926. But the most famous place at Aušra Museum is the villa of Chaimas Frenkelis. Situated a bit further from the city center, this graceful early 20th century house survived the wars without any damage. Chaimas Frenkelis was a Jewish businessman who built one of the most successful leather factories in the whole Russian Empire, as Lithuania was a part of it in the late 19th century. So when the business grew, Frenkelis built this beautiful villa next to his factory, which explains its location. The house is one of the best examples of secessionist and Art Nouveau architecture in Lithuania. The museum inside has plenty of exhibitions showcasing the city's history, Frenkel's life, leather making, and Jewish art. Also, there is a stylish restaurant on the first floor, where various cultural events take place as well. There is another museum that is well worth visiting while in Šiauliai. It is Rūta Chocolate Museum, situated in the Chocolate Factory. Established in the early 20th century, Rūta is one of the most renowned brands of sweets in Lithuania. The museum is small but very well thought of. The exhibition is interesting and there are tasks for visitors to complete in order to receive a sweet prize. Also, there are plenty of educational activities available, and after a visit to the museum, it's nice to check out Rūta chocolate shops downstairs. One more interesting indoor spot to visit in Šiauliai is actually quite unique. It is the Sense Room. When Lithuania switched its currency to the euro back in 2015, local artists decorated a room at Šiauliai Academy with the sense of the old currency, litas. Everything here is covered in cents. There is even a map of Lithuania made from it. The artists used more than 157,000 coins, with a total value of more than 3,300 litas, which would have been around 957 euros at the time of the currency switch. The room can be visited freely during the university's working hours. So far we have explored the cultural and historical side of Šiauliai, but what about its surroundings? Let's see what there is to do outdoors in Šiauliai. Probably the best place to start is at the Sundial Square, dedicated to the Battle of Siauliai, which I mentioned earlier. The golden sculpture of an archer doubles as a sundial, with its shadow indicating the time on the square. The square leads further to a large park surrounding Talkša lake, which is one of the locals' favorite places to relax and enjoy nature. There are plenty of playgrounds and sports facilities here, a beach, and even a 7-kilometer-long cognitive trail leading along the coast towards some hill forts further in the park. One of the most famous attractions in the park is the Iron Fox sculpture. Created by artist and industrial designer Vilius Puronas, the Iron Fox is the largest animal sculpture in Lithuania, weighing almost 7 tons. The Iron Fox is now one of the unique symbols of Šiauliai city, and it looks quite cool up close. Šiauliai has another large and beautiful lake, Rėkyva. Situated in the outskirts of the city, this is definitely a place of calm and beautiful nature. In the summer, the lake is popular for beachgoers, and there are also boat rentals. I stayed at a hotel a few years ago located in one of the few remaining old buildings of Rėkyva Manor, situated right on the shore of the lake. The morning by the lake was magical. Šiauliai also has a botanical garden, but unfortunately I wasn't able to visit it because it is closed on weekends during the off-season. That will be a trip for another time. In case you're wondering why I'm not mentioning the world-famous Hill of Crosses, it's because it's actually situated outside the bounds of Šiauliai city. You can see and learn all about it in my upcoming video about Šiauliai district, which surrounds the city and has plenty of interesting places to visit too. Overall, I think that Šiauliai is a great place to visit in the northern Lithuania. Spending a full day or two here would be good, visiting some of its numerous museums and exploring the city. One of the best times to visit Šiauliai is actually in the beginning of September, when there is a big festival, Šiauliai Days, celebrating the city's birthday. Then the city gets filled with events everywhere. See you in Šiauliai, and thanks for watching.